We're without Stephanie. You know what that means? We're gonna go fast, we're gonna go hard, and we're gonna spend a lot of money. Here we are. Okay. She's not here, she doesn't know what happened. So we've got the 6.0 block back, $300. You've seen the video. If you haven't seen the video, click up there. We just got the block back from Central Tennessee Machine Works down in Sale Creek, and they did a great job. I mean, this thing was nasty, rusty, all sorts of things. And
more rusty.
It's looking great. What are your thoughts?
Looks good.
Thoughts?
Needs paint.
He needs paint, and we're about to take care of that. And he went ahead and properly put in our cam bearings. And I'm not sure if you guys know the rules. If you look, you have to replace them. If you don't look, they're fine.
Let them go. They're great.
Perfect. So we are here getting started. It has been acid dipped for 24 hours, blasted. And I will also show, he did my rods, they're inspected. So when you boys see the power coming down, don't come at me that we didn't go through everything. It's been gone through. So we're gonna go ahead and get this up here on the stand, and then we're gonna start painting. Let's set my C-clip. It's now gone. Side note, I really don't know how you'd ever get this on there if you leave the C-clip.
Experience.
Josh, have you done this once or twice?
A few times.
Today. So
maybe today.
We got it up here. It has PV blaster on it to keep it from rusting. It had to sit in the truck covered overnight last night, so we wanted to make sure all was well. But we're gonna go ahead and start getting some of that off and get it prepped for a little.
To keep from getting brake cleaner all over the cylinder walls and losing the PB blaster off of it, I just took some brake cleaner and sprayed it on a shop rag and just kind of did right at the surface, so that way it pulls that PB blaster off of it, but now you have a nice surface to be able to tape to, so that way you get a nice clean edge on it.
Perfect. Everything taped up right now. We're
okay, so you're gonna, I got you. So you're
figuring out how we're taping the water.
Safety. You gotta be close. Safety.
Because you do see this little piece right there.
We're also gonna go over it and clean the surface when we get there. So when we're cleaning it with a wire wheel, it isn't gonna matter if we got a little bit paint that's close.
I mean, this is as clean as this block is ever gonna be.
It's cleaner than it ever was.
You loggers are rough, but I do appreciate you changing your oil. So ahead and got everything all taped up here. Plugged in your holes where your screws are and bolts, so, or else you're gonna be having fun rethreading. Taped up. I know a lot of guys put Vaseline on stuff. This is, you guys gotta understand, you know, it's gonna be in a lower truck. You're not gonna see a ton of it. And this block was just acid wash, so it should be pretty clean. So here we go. But I'm doing Chevy orange. I know a lot of people are over the Chevy orange, but it's got to be Chevy orange. So we're using Duplicolor engine. I think it's rated to what, Josh? Like 500, something like that. But we're gonna go ahead and give her a go. Two light coats, pretty medium wet coat, and looking good, looking good. Did get one tiny run, you know how it goes, but it's small. I'll be able to wet sand it out once it dries. But here's where we are, and it is looking good. Very happy. Only took one can as well, so very cost effective. I will say this was a lot easier because I had the block dipped, so it was clean to start with. So all we had to do was really wipe it down. But it can be done if you haven't had your block dipped. But engine paint worked great. On to the next stage. Here we are getting the wrist pins put in of our new Summit Pro LS flat top pistons plus 2cc pistons put in. We've got our snap rings we're working on. And we got a couple of them put in, and we're gonna go ahead and catch y'all up.
So you can see we've put the circle rings, or ring clips, however you want to call it. That is what holds the wrist pin together and holds the rod on.
Your 6.0 might have, this is the floating, you might have the pressed. It just still depends on your engine year.
And so with these rods, they have a little knurl on them, a little tit, if you will. They go towards the front of the motor. And then with our piston heads, we know that the reliefs go up. So what you do, this is the number 2 piston. So the knurl goes towards the front of the motor. The reliefs go up, and then it goes together like so. And then the wrist pin gets slid in. Wipe a little of the excess off. 2/1000ths difference. There's also a 2/1000ths difference. Michael can tell you the difference in the years, but there are wrist pin size difference that you have to take account for. Press in or 2/1000ths bigger.
Yes, we have 943s. You might have 945s.
What is that? Oh. Sit on that tire back there, Bill.
And so these, as you can see from my finger, takes a little bit to put them in, and they're kind of tough. But then they just click in, and then you can see that's a completed piston.
If you do have this set up with the floating, you are good up to 900 horse, so you can send it. That is the pro of having these. All right, so the boys got confused, so we brought over the professional.
All right, so on these O-rings, you can see a little bitty groove right here. This is like just kind of the little spacer to keep your O-rings pushed out. And what you will do is, I always like to set the gap that I've lost already, because it all looks the same, but it's in here somewhere, because there'll be a gap here, a gap here, a gap here, a gap here, a gap here when you set all your rings down. You don't want all of these rings on the outside edge, because that is where your piston actually rocks a little bit. That's normal. That's why you got these cool little nice whatever they call them, covers for a little bit of piston slap. But when it pivots, you want your ring gap here, 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 or here, just where you don't have any grooves adjoining or pretty much opposite of each other, where you get all your expansion and everything.
So we measured our ring gap, and we're actually 5/1000ths circle track drag. So that's what we're looking for. And here's a little diagram.
We're a little more rowdy than street.
Yeah, we're past street. Decided to do all King racing bearings for this build, and we're gonna go ahead and start right here.
The King racing bearings, I think the difference is they actually put an extra old hole here for these big old gaps. Maybe you can get a little bit more sliding up in here.
This is one of the issues on the 6.0s.
Yeah, you get these little bitty tabs. Keep in mind where they're at. You have to line up your bearings back in them, and usually your ones on your block have the gap, but you'll just push them down, set them in, and then put you some lube on there. You can never use enough lube.
That's kind of a general life lesson, isn't it?
do at least 3 curls before you get this in, where you can look muscular.
I wore the black t-shirts.
That
way
just for this?
T-shirt.
That way
it's kind of
All
snug.
right. Way it's showed off the.
It's always a good idea to wash this thing really good. We sent it out, had it dipped, everything polished up and good to go.
Yep.
You want to watch your fingers.
Yeah, there it is.
Here,
I'm stuck. Are you good?
unstuck
Go at the back.
like a glove.
Time to lube
We're
up.
not actually going to turn it too far, because we're going to put plastic gauge down in here and check all the rear bearing clearances.
All right.
All right, we're going to do plastic gauge just to try to get a good, make sure everything's safe. It is the time now to find if you have an issue, not when it all gets together. So get you a little bitty piece of plastic gauge. I call it dental floss. Set it down in the middle of your bearing. Then we're gonna put our new bearings on. At least torque them. You don't have, I don't torque them to yield, because realistically your first good torque is your to the space. We'll put these on the bearing caps, torque them down, all of them, pull them back off, and we'll show you how to measure them.
So what we're doing here, we've got the dental floss, as Josh says, and we're about to drop the cap back down.
All right.
Whoa, whoa.
What?
You said you did the center one first.
Put it in there.
Oh.
This is why Josh is here.
Pin is broken. Instructions unclear.
Don't scar my walls. I ain't even got to turn it on yet. Let me scar them. All right, so you'll see the little the indentions here. That is the dental floss that we're talking about. Yeah. So what you're doing is we're looking to make sure our clearance is right. And we're right in that spec, so
Yeah, flip it over.
all good. So we checked our tolerances. We are set where we need to be, so we are going back through. We've just lubed everything up, and Taylor's pulling us right now to 15 foot-pounds, and then we'll go back through and do 80 degrees for the middle and 51 for the outside bolts.